Right now, today, in the 21st century, there are about 50 royal families in the world. The European royal families control treasuries and mints and have the option to print as much money as they want. That's why their heads and faces are on our banknotes and coins. Warmongering, land grabbing, loan sharking, opium, gold, diamonds, and of course slavery are how the royals and the aristocracy got so damn rich. Let's not forget, of course, that the royals asset stripped Africa and India. And today, the royals have invested in big tech, and through a global network of front companies and tax havens, they own the biggest search engines, the biggest TV and social media networks. They own nearly every newspaper, nearly every magazine, and major publishing and broadcasting houses. The land and the beaches where Europe's toxic nuclear power stations stand is mostly owned by the royals. Yes, the royals are part of the energy monopoly, overcharging and defrauding customers for electricity, gas, and petrol. But that is just the start of our story.
Meine Arbeit für richtig hältst. Ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
herrscht eine Pflicht oder eine Aufgabe.
Die Herzogin hat mich sehr, sehr glücklich gemacht. Und ich bin immer bereit, wie ich in meine letzte Rede, Broadcast, bin immer bereit, irgendwelche Dienst für mein Land zu tun.
Let's take a look at Volkswagen, which owns Bentley, Porsche, Audi, Lamborghini and Bugatti. Volkswagen was handed over to the British Crown at the end of the Second World War in 1945. Now, Volkswagen cars were built by slaves from the Arbeitsdorf concentration camp. And in 1945, a British Army officer took over the management of Volkswagen on behalf of the British Crown. British Army officer Major Ivan Hurst used British taxpayers' money to grow Volkswagen into the world's biggest car manufacturer. The British government actually ordered 20,000 Volkswagens whilst simultaneously destroying the British trades union movement, which protected the rights of British car workers. The British Crown eventually sold billions of dollars worth of British car factories to their German puppets for just £1 British pound. Today, all of this has been swept under a very, very plush carpet. Many of the younger royals in Europe have no idea what a vast industrial and financial empire the royals actually own. And any royal who finds out that concentration camp slaves made the royals rich is immediately ostracized from the family. But more important than big tech, search engines, oil, gas, diamonds and car manufacturing, the royals own nearly every major bank. So, in this film, we're going to ask a simple question which the mainstream media, which is mostly owned by the royals, never asks. Where do these royal families of Europe actually come from? Well, it's a simple question with a very fascinating answer. Nearly all of the European royal houses trace their lineage back to King Solomon of ancient Israel. King Solomon was the son of the Jewish King David, but Solomon did not worship the God of the Bible. He worshipped Moloch and became possessed by a demon called Asmodeus. In fact, the legendary histories of ancient Israel say that Israel, Judah, and the surrounding countries were all ruled by Asmodeus, who possessed the body of King Solomon for many, many years. Let's take a look at the American dollar. The American dollar is represented by a symbol, an S for Solomon, with two vertical lines, which represent the two pillars at the entrance to King Solomon's temple in ancient Jerusalem. King Solomon is written into the Quran and the Bible as an expert demonologist. He had amassed a knowledge on how to summon demons. These are known as the Djinn or genies, and how to enforce these demons to work for King Solomon. Djinn demons were consulted through a kind of Ouija board on the blueprints for King Solomon's temple. And Islam teaches that King Solomon was an exorcist. What I'm now going to show you is footage of the spiritual cleansing of various people's bodies. Now, millions of people worldwide are living hand to mouth, and a lot of these people are feeling attacked. They're feeling that they're being spiritually attacked, and they're feeling that they're cursed. And many people feel that they're constantly having bad luck.
¿Por qué le manda?
You're about to witness a terrifying but fascinating ritual.
Mala.
Es muy mala.
Sí, mala.
Ajá. En el nombre de Dios todo.
He is a man who many believe is blessed with special powers, direct from God. Battling with a demon, he says, has taken over this woman's body
8, 9, 10.
and is trying to kill her.
¿Qué es lo que quieres?
Yo me voy, pero
vas a
matar
ir?
a Sandra.
It's an idea made famous in the movies.
Amen.
The ability to fight face to face with the devil. But Hollywood's version of The Exorcist has nothing on this,
Me voy, no.
because these are not actors. They're real villagers and farmers. Even their young children, willing to spend an entire month's salary in the hope they'll be saved by one of South America's most sought-after spiritual leaders.
Sangre de Cristo.
They call him El Exorcista,
Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo.
the exorcist.
Espíritu Santo. Deja que caiga. Deja que.
To meet Brother Hermes Cifuente, we traveled deep into the Andes Mountains of western Colombia,
The people have to travel a long way to get here.
hitching a ride with his brother, who is a cab driver. All right, well, this would be interesting to see. I've never in my entire life ever witnessed any kind of exorcism. But first, an unexpected stop at a gas station where our translator tries to convince the driver that the car has plenty of fuel for the trip.
He said, no, it's for the fire. And I said, what fire? The one he puts around the people.
Hermano Hermes, buenos días.
Nice to meet you.
At Brother Hermes' farm, he's eager to show us videos of his past work.
1 y 0. No quiero.
Services that do not come cheap.
1 a 30.
He charges the equivalent of $35 for a diagnosis
Fuerte y en tu lengua.
and $230 for an actual exorcism.
Well, that's your father.
As a second-generation exorcist, he says he's battled thousands of demons in the past 25 years.
What's the worst case you've ever seen?
Brother Hermes describes a woman who came to him cursed to be like a frog.
Güero, la piel como la de un sapo, y en el ritual cantaba y sacaba la lengua como la del sapo.
He claims he was able to cure her, but local Catholic leaders say it's all an act. They disapprove of the work that he does here. But is it really that far-fetched? Watch this. It's what many believe is Pope Francis himself performing an exorcism on a wheelchair-bound man. It happened earlier this year in Rome. Pope Francis holds his hands right on the man's head for 15 seconds while the man shakes and makes strange sounds. The Vatican downplayed the incident, but many believers say there's no doubt in what they saw. In fact, belief in the power of exorcism is as old as Christianity itself. The New Testament tells of Jesus casting off demons. Even today, the Catholic Church has an 84-page book, a how-to guide for getting rid of the devil.
You've seen a witch inside you?
Sí, señor, se la he visto.
What did it look like?
Es un animal feo. Un animal horrible, un animal grande, feo.
Claudia is one who has come to Brother Hermes seeking a cure from what you might call a messy divorce. She claims her ex-husband had a curse put on her, so she'd never love another man. But Olga says her troubles are far more serious.
So a woman put a
O sea que hay una mujer que
curse on you.
fue a la bruja para que la bruja le
Sandra
hiciera
fue
una
ante la bruja.
maleficio.
Sí, fue ante la bruja para que me hiciera el maleficio para matarme.
And the curse was that she be killed.
Porque está en el cuerpo y todas esas cosas. Entonces yo comienzo, como se dice, a hablar directamente con el espíritu. Alma de Cristo, cuerpo de Cristo, sangre de Cristo, agua del costado de Cristo, pasión de Cristo, Holy One Jesús, Dios está con nosotros.
You can see that they've now been covered all with dirt, and also lime, flowers, eggs have all been wrapped into their feet.
¿Por qué le hace daño al hermano?
Then a warning that we should all move back.
Habla a ver.
Olga's demon is putting up a fight.
Retirarte, comienza a retirarte. 10,
As he counts down, she becomes agitated.
15, 16, 17, 18.
It's an intense confrontation, lasting more than 20 minutes.
24, 25. Dios, hijo, ¿qué es lo que quieres? ¿Qué es lo que quieres?
Yo me voy, pero
vas a ir.
matar a Sandra.
No te metas más ahí y busca la luz. Busca la luz en el nombre de Dios.
Can you just tell me how you feel?
¿Cómo se siente?
¿Se va a retirar o qué vamos a hacer con usted?
A little bit dizzy. I saw her going like this,
She
like
was saying
waving, saying
goodbye.
goodbye.
She's saying goodbye. So this is, are you completely better now?
Y se siente mejor.
the evil
ahora? ¿Cómo
gone?
se siente? ¿Cómo?
No, ahora ya me pasó, ya estoy bien.
I'm well now.
Declaramos.
But there's still work to be done on Claudia. That witch's spell keeping her from finding new love.
Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo. Déjala que caiga, déjala quieta, déjala quieta.
Did it work? Do you feel like you get that soul out of you? You deeply believe in Brother Hermes?
En el hermano
Y en Dios.
He's gonna actually go try to save a child now.
Inside, we find a young boy and his mother. This time it's not a demon, but a severe stomachache. And no doctor has been able to help. And whatever powers Brother Hermes may have, we witness this. The boy stops crying.
He sounded like he was being kind of getting tortured by you, but he was crying a lot.
No, y eso es bueno que ellos suelten el llanto.
It's good that they cry out.
Mucha paz.
And whether you think he's a man of God or just another sly huckster, there's no denying the impact he has on the people here, or their belief that this simple man can change their lives.
Is there any way you can test me to see if I'm actually possessed by some kind of evil spirit?
He says it doesn't work really that way. He says that a person comes who does bad things, so you do not have a bad spirit, you have the spirit of God that made you wise, that made you a good journalist, that's your gift.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for that. I'm glad the diagnosis actually turns out pretty well.
But before we can really get back on the road, Brother Hermes shares a secret of his own. He loves that movie.
And I'm the devil.
The Exorcist.
Now kindly undo these straps.
He's been fascinated by it ever since he was a little boy, and says he will produce the next remake.
You want to be the next Exorcist star.
Exactamente. Del enemigo malo defiéndela.
Who's going to play you in the movie?
He's going to be himself.
No George Clooney? No Tom Cruise?
A medida que se van acabando va llegando el hermano Hermes.
He says they're going to fade away, and that's when I come in.
Now, in Latin America, many millions of people are now questioning why, if they work so hard, why are they getting such little reward? And Latin America is, many of the countries are on the edge of revolution against the banksters. Now, let's just take a spiritual world view and say that curses are a multi-million-dollar industry. And I've been exposing the cursing industry for many, many years. Now, curses are sold on auction websites, and you can even purchase a ghost in a jar on websites like eBay, and you can use PayPal to even pay for these things. And in ancient times, reflection magic, where curses are rebounded back on the black magicians that create them, were also purchased in great quantities. So not only was the black magic itself a big business, but the reflection magic was also a secondary huge business. Now, being under a curse, being under a spell, or suffering a demonic attack is generally known as spiritual oppression. And these attacks can create invisible barriers in someone's life. They can affect your health, they can affect your business, and they can affect your relationships in a very negative way. And essentially, the evil eye, which really does exist in Jewish mysticism, has been used for centuries.
Well, we believe such a thing as an evil eye, such a thing exists, that people look at other people with a negative feeling and jealousy and hatred even to somebody else, that somebody has something that they would like to have, and they would like to have the same kind of success in what's happening. And there is such a thing. Person, to save ourselves, the main way is by us not being able, allowing it to, it's like a shield from the evil eye. It's like somebody has a gun to shoot somebody. If you have a shield in front of it, you don't feel the bullets because you're shielded from it. The evil eye can be like a bullet shot to somebody else, but if we have the right shielding, a person who is spiritual and he studies Torah and he does the laws of Hashem and is spiritually uplifted, so that is a shield for a person to not be affected by evil eyes and ayin hara that we call. And if he's a God-fearing person, God will watch over him and he won't be affected by it.
From the very beginnings of human culture, people have felt the need to protect themselves against malevolent, supernatural entities. Nearly every legendary historical text warns mankind about the so-called fallen angels, which are an army of demons. Likewise, malevolent, evil witches, evil druids, evil sorcerers, evil rabbis, evil magi, and evil conjurers are also warned about in many ancient texts. During the era of King Solomon, people were warned about the Ayin Hara. This is known as the evil eye. All over the world, archaeologists have discovered talismans, amulets, and other inscribed objects dating even to the earliest Neolithic settlements that were manufactured in order to keep demons away. Cursing of crops and flocks by malevolent neighbors was also a problem, and created a huge industry for talismans and amulets which protected people from the black magicians and mystics who knew how to summon demons such as Moloch and Asmodeus. Demon bowls were manufactured in large quantities. Some demon bowls summoned demons, whilst others could be tipped upside down to capture a demon. And these bowls were inscribed with spells which took away the power of the demons. And the bowls were kept in the corner of a room upside down, so that the demons were trapped inside, rather like a genie bottle. So now we come to perhaps one of the biggest archaeological mysteries of all time. It is called the Fuente Magna Bowl, which just means big font bowl, because churches in the Hispanic world had so-called fonts or bowls for holding holy water for baptisms, and this is a very big earthenware bowl. The Fuente Magna bowl is inscribed with a hieroglyphic text similar to that used by the Berbers of North Africa. It also has some similarities with Babylonian cuneiform. However, this bowl was not found in Babylonia, and it was not found in Africa. It was discovered about 65 miles from La Paz in Bolivia in South America. The Fuente Magna bowl is most probably some kind of demon bowl or cursing bowl. How it traveled from Babylon to Bolivia is a mystery, though it may be likely that it was traded on the slave routes which crisscrossed the Atlantic. Now, because YouTube is full of clickbaiters and Google have relegated genuine blogs and websites in favor of fake news and sponger sites like Pinterest, it is almost impossible for people to understand the significance of the Fuente Magna bowl. So I will say it plainly for everyone to understand. This bowl is most probably some kind of magical artifact, and it comes from either Africa or ancient Sumeria or ancient Babylon. In fact, some of the hieroglyphs resemble the language used on Easter Island, and so maybe this bowl could be a relic from the lost continent of Mu. So, are there any other artifacts which resemble this Fuente Magna bowl? Well, yes there are, and they are called cursing bowls or demon bowls, and they come from the ancient Aramaic world of Jewish mystics, and they were very popular in old Babylon.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're really going! What's Satan again? How's he doing? What?
We've now reached our destination.
Welcome to Jerusalem.
A church next to a synagogue, next to a temple, all stuck together.
Look where we are. It's insane. The city is awesome.
If you don't believe in God, you came to the wrong city.
Yom Kippur, Judgment Day. It's not the skies that's opening up tonight. It's the ground.
It's religious bullshit.
They're closed on the gates. They're not letting anybody out of the city.
Come on, come on, come on!
Cursing bowls, which are bowls where you drank a libation of wine that was consecrated, and written on the inside of the bowl was a curse. And one of these curses, or a set of these curses, is known as the evil eye. And the evil eye really does exist in Judaism. And it dates right the way back to the time of King Solomon. The Aztecs, Olmecs, Mayans, Incas of Peru, and many other indigenous Latin American countries have brujahu, sorcerers or witches, who can perform exorcisms. Now, curses and witchery were used on the battlefield, and they were used in the world of politics. In actual fact, I think they're still used in the world of politics. And this is most probably one of the central reasons why the pharaohs expelled Moses and his followers from Egypt, which inspired the book of Exodus. Now, what we need to look at is we need to look at Vedic Indian ancient medicine. And what the Indian Sanskrit medical texts teach us is that there is an invisible etheric body which holds your physical body like a cocoon, and this can be attacked by demons. In actual fact, your etheric body can actually be inhabited by demons. Now, you do not need a full exorcism to rid yourself of demons, or the Djinn as they are known in Islam, just being mindful of a spiritual attack is enough to keep up your protection. And as I say, many people in Latin America actually purchase a simple spiritual cleansing ceremony, which is usually done on street markets. And here we can see a street market in Mexico, and this happens all over Latin America. And you can see local shamans who perform a kind of spiritual spring cleaning, and they charge not very much money, just a few dollars or even a few pesos. There are also cults where spirits are deliberately summoned into the body, and some of these spirits are mischievous and produce physical pain, which releases endorphins in the blood, which is a natural kind of painkiller, and endorphins are a natural kind of opioid created by the body. And if you want a really deep understanding of shamanism, voodoo, and spirit possession, then watch the Enigma Channel's Gods of the Ancient World.
Why did you go there? I told you, it was not safe. Do you know these people? The man, he is her son. He helps. The woman, she practices the old ways. She's a bruja. They don't believe they can let you go. They have seen something inside you. A demon. I don't know what's in my food. I don't know what day it is. You can't understand what you see now. This is insane. This isn't you. It's what's inside you.
There is no demon, Christina.
My name is Christina Lopez. I came to this place to die.
Escupa con fuerza 3 veces.
The origins of exorcism go way, way back in time. The first recorded exorcisms come from the ancient texts of Zoroastrianism. Being possessed by a demon is not a phenomenon which died out in the ancient world. It is still happening to this day. In fact, there is an international council of exorcists who often meet at the Vatican. And all over Latin America, especially in Mexico and Venezuela, and also in Louisiana and the Caribbean, people pay for a spiritual cleansing known as a Lamia ceremony. And these are performed, they're kind of exorcisms, and they're performed in the streets of Mexico and other Latin American countries. Now, some people want their spirit to be cleansed because they believe someone has placed a curse on them. And other people want a spiritual cleansing because they fear a disease has invaded their body. Now, if truth be known, the whole of mankind is undergoing mass curses put on them by a tsunami of occult symbols and images of demons which are actually integrated into advertising. Many of the demons in the lower astral realms actually create diseases. They can also create minor nervous problems such as muscle spasms and tics. Possession by a demon can often happen when someone is very, very young, and they then unwittingly carry that demon with them for the rest of their life. It's interesting that many of the free plastic toys given away in breakfast cereal are actually demons. In fact, the names of demons from the ancient book of Goetia appear in PlayStation games, and some video games take place in hell itself.
Hey!
Blessed Mother, save us.
The spirit world was a very, very real world to the Illuminati super wealthy kings and queens of the ancient world. Rehabilitation of the dead person's soul was paramount in ancient Egypt. Billions of dollars in their money were invested in preparing for the reincarnation of the pharaoh's soul into the afterlife. Many of the world's greatest art treasures from the ancient world depict various demons and spiritual monsters. It was in the occult hotbed of ancient Iraq that we find the first recorded instances of demonology and exorcism. The most important book used by black magicians to summon demons is called the Goetia. It is also known as the Key of Solomon, which refers to the symbols or sigils used to attract 72 evil spirits. The spirits appear in incense smoke, in the embers of fire, or if you are a skilled enough magician, these demons will appear as distorted reflections in a dark mirror. Now, at first, these demons appear to be composite creatures, for example, having the head of a cat and the body of a crab. This is like their calling card. They will happily shapeshift into human form once the magician begins speaking with them. The Goetia, Key of Solomon, explains that each of these 72 demons rules over thousands of lesser demons, and that they can tell you all things past, present, and future. And some of these demons, such as Asmodeus, specialize in destroying marriages. Some demons bring plague. Other demons can help find water or gold. And the Goetia is based on a Judaic legendary history of the life of King Solomon. And this legendary history is called the Testament of Solomon, which used to be included as part of the Holy Bible in the Old Testament. However, the Testament of Solomon has been censored from the Bible because it clearly explains that King Solomon summoned many demons into his temple, and indeed the first temple of Solomon was designed and built by seeking advice from demons in hell. The Goetia is really a continuation of the ancient text known as the Testament of Solomon. And the Testament of Solomon dates way back to the 1st or 2nd century AD. It could in fact be older than that. It is most certainly Jewish in its origin. Now, the Testament of Solomon and the Goetia, which was derived from the Testament, are not meant to be known about by non-Jewish scholars. But these texts were translated into English, and the Goetia began circulating around the end of the 17th century. In actual fact, some scholars say that the Goetia was first distributed amongst learned people like Dr. John Dee during the Renaissance in the 1500s. Now, King Solomon employs and speaks with many kinds of demons in these texts, some of which are very grotesque, including one demon which has no head, and 2 demons associated strongly with sexuality appear amongst these 72 demons in the text. The first is Asmodeus, who encourages promiscuity and adultery between married couples. And then there is a female demon named Obezuth, and she is similar to Lilith who is a succubus demon and a child killer. Now, the Testament of Solomon starts with these following words: "This be the testament of Solomon, son of David, who was king in Jerusalem and mastered and controlled all spirits of the air, on the earth and under the earth. And behold, when the temple of the city of Jerusalem was being built, Ornias the demon came among them." And so the text continues and explains that King Solomon's temple had, for example, hemp ropes woven by demons. The temple had clay floors which are leveled by the feet of Asmodeus, and the marble inside the temple was actually cut by demons. The Temple of Solomon was therefore masquerading as a temple of Judaism, when in actual fact it was a temple built by demons. And this is similar to the Gothic cathedrals of Europe, which are temples venerating demons, and these are carved on the cathedrals in the form of so-called gargoyles. But these cathedrals are not Christian at all. In actual fact, many of them were actually funded and designed by the Knights Templar, and they are masquerading as Christian churches. Now, if we read the Testament of Solomon carefully, we can see that Asmodeus, at one point, actually admits to King Solomon that he is a Nephilim. A Nephilim is a hybrid, half-human and half-fallen angel being. Now, it's interesting to note that King Solomon's reputation is kind of protected by a fake cover story, which inspired the Arabian 1001 Nights fairy tales, and also inspired the mythological history of Pandora's box. And this cover story says that after employing these demons, King Solomon enticed the demons into a genie bottle, which he then stoppered up and he threw the bottle away, supposedly hoping that these demons would never be found. But the bottle was found and was opened, and then the 72 primary demons of hell were released back into the world, much the same as we see in the legend of Pandora's box. Now, the other thing that you've got to remember when you're looking at these ancient texts is that the word Baal, B-A-A-L, refers to one of the 4 kings of hell known as Lord Baal. And this has been deliberately mistranslated as the word Lord in all holy Bibles. So when King Solomon thanks the Lord, he is thanking Lord Baal, one of the kings of hell. He's not thanking the Christian God, which some people call the Christian God Yahweh. And this is why in Judaism that the real name of God is unmentionable. And the same thing goes for that in Freemasonry. Freemasons never actually use the name of God. Now, over many centuries, the 72 primary demons of hell and the names of the fallen angels and the Nephilim all got rewritten and amalgamated into one book, which explains what each demon looks like, how they can shapeshift, and what their special powers are. And it also describes how to torture and threaten these demons if they refuse to work for the magician. And this book first became known outside of Judaism around the 15th century, and today we call this book the Goetia.